Doesn't it seem like no engineering companies hire people right out of school? Well, you're not wrong, but it's complicated. This video will help you out in getting your foot in the door and landing that first engineering job. My name's Nenad, and I'm here to help you get started. I've been in the engineering business for about 10 years or so, and I'm currently a manager at my company, and I also do a lot of hiring. So hopefully some of my insights here will help you out. Let's pretend that you're just about ready to graduate, your last semester, but you have no prospects lined up. So what can you do to ensure that as soon as you graduate, you can start working? Let's start with the lowest hanging fruit. So the first thing you could do is contact your friends that might have already been hired and ask them if their companies are also hiring. That'd be an easy recommendation for them to make because they know you and hopefully you're a good student and you're gonna do great work and they can recommend you to their employers. And oftentimes by doing so, they'll get a bonus. So that'd be the first thing to do, friends and family, go to them. Secondly, what you could do is go to your college advisors. They are already probably in communication with a lot of the recruiting companies around or the engineering firms that are in the area, and they have good relationships. And if they don't know you, introduce yourself to your advisor, which at this point, hopefully they do know you. But if they don't, just say hi, tell them what you're looking for, and maybe they can help you out. That'd be the second easiest thing you could do at this point. Thirdly, and this might already be too late, but if it's not, go to the career fair, specifically if there is an engineering career fair anywhere near you. Just go ask your advisors again, see if there's a fair coming up and make sure you go to it. There'll probably be signs all over campus that it's actually happening. There you'll have the highest chance of speaking to many different companies and you'll probably find one or two that you really like. And that's what you should focus in on. Fourthly, you're all aware of the power of Google, so use it. Go on Google and no matter where you are in the country, just type in engineering jobs in and then insert city. So engineering jobs in Raleigh, North Carolina, or engineering jobs in Chicago. The more specific you get, of course, the less the returns will be. So if you type in electrical engineering jobs in Tampa, Florida, that'll be less than just engineering jobs. But use your major, and if you already know what industry you want to be in, then figure out what the lingo is and the terminology there. So for instance, for me, I will be looking at substation engineering jobs in Little Rock, Arkansas, for instance, okay? So the more you narrow it down, the more specific they get. But if you're just looking to get hired and you don't care what industry, then just type in your major jobs in whatever city you live in. And then begin your search. There'll even be postings on there already, and start reaching out. That's really it. Start reaching out. Start emailing them, get on the phone, make some calls. This is the time now to put on your big boy, big girl pants and get out there and get what you want, and that is for you to get hired. Another thing to keep in mind is use the power of the internet. So you've already done your Google searching. That's great. But now go on Indeed and upload your resume, which we'll talk about in a second, and make sure that you are searchable on there, meaning that recruiters and other companies can find you. And yes, it's always hard to get your foot in the door when you're first starting out, but there is a ton of demand for engineering in general. So the chances are high that you might find somebody or somebody will find you on there. And if you're willing to move, that opens up the entire country for you. On Indeed, make sure you're searchable, and on LinkedIn, likewise, make sure that you are open to finding a job or whatever the terminology is there. That way people can find you and reach out to you. Now, before you could even do any of that stuff, you need to make sure that you have a good resume. Now, your resume needs to be tailored for whatever position that you're seeking. So at this point, you need to have a general idea. So when you're doing your Googling or asking your friends or at the career fair you'll have a more general resume. But let's say you know now, for instance, I want to work in the automotive industry. Well, that needs to be in your resume, that objective right there. I'm looking to get hired into the automotive industry. I'm looking to find a position in the automotive industry. Make sure you tailor it specifically, especially if you're applying yourself. Make it very specific. Find out something about the company. right? Maybe they just opened up a new warehouse or an office in Arizona or something. Write that in your cover letter. Make sure that your resume and cover letter are both very specific to what it is that you're applying to. That way, your employer knows that it wasn't just a generic one that you sent out. They know that you are taking the time to learn about them. Hiring managers want to know that you know a little bit about their company and that you're taking the time to do your research. Obviously, you'll be a little nervous, but the hiring managers all understand this. And I interview many new grads, and that's typically always the case, and that's totally fine. We're just trying to get a feel for you to see if you'll be a good fit for our company. And as you're starting out, you don't need to feel too much pressure unless you're perhaps going into tech companies where I'm sure you've seen about their interview process. They'll give you some code or something to write. For everybody else, it's not about, I'm not going to ask you to go ahead and design this power plant or whatever it is that you're interviewing for. It's more, can you learn? Are you detail oriented? Are you a good team player? Things like that. What is your personality? What is your fit within our company culture that people are looking for? Can you do the job? Or can you be groomed into that person that can do the job? That's what we're looking for. Now you've made it to the in-person interview. And one of the most important things there is to be professional and presentable. So that means it's probably good to tidy up, look as best as you can, look presentable, look well kept, tidy, groomed, all of that stuff. For men, it wouldn't hurt to probably wear something nice. You might not need a suit, but probably a sport coat. Women, business attire, of course, will be preferred. And that way, people know that you're taking this entire process very seriously. You're not wasting anybody's time. You are here as a professional. You're entering the professional world now, just like basketball players or football players or tennis players all get paid to play. You are here now ready to put your skills to the test and become a pro. And as we mentioned earlier, of course, you'll be a little bit nervous. That's totally fine, which is why you're wearing your suit jacket. If you're a guy, that way, the sweating will be covered up, and that's totally normal. But be respectful, be professional, and try to remain as calm as you can and have that idea in your mind that this interview is going to go well and that you're going to get hired. I'll be making a follow-up video for all of these points, but if this video brought you any value, give me a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.